Blockbusters. You are listening to the Triple B Podcast. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters. I'm good old TJ, and I'm rocking this episode solo. Ryan is on vacation with his lovely family out in Hawaii. We miss you. Come back soon. Rise, Swizzle. Got a jam-packed agenda to cover, so let's get right into it. Bourbon cocktail of the week. I made a New York Sour. Just to remind you, we were going to utilize the bourbon that was the runner-up in the King of the Bourbs tournament. That was the Wolcott bourbon here. So that's what we're utilizing in this cocktail. So the New York Sour, what this consists of is 1.5 ounce bourbon, 3/4 ounce simple syrup, 3/4 ounce lemon juice, and we're going to float some red wine, which I utilized the brown Cab Sauv. Directions: you mix the first three ingredients, the bourbon, simple syrup, lemon juice, in a shaker with ice. You're going to strain that, and then you're going to float some red wine right on top, and it gives you this lovely presentation. So let's give it a try. Going to give it a little stir. It did kind of blend together a little bit because I messed up the float, but let's give it a try. Oh, that is delightful. I would never have thought to mix wine with bourbon, and holy hell, that's really good. It's really refreshing. Almost kind of not quite as sweet as like a sangria, but it kind of gives me those vibes. The wine is definitely a little stronger. I think I could have poured a little less to let the bourbon and lemon and simple syrup kind of shine through. But you definitely get that, and I'm sure as I keep sipping, it's going to be more prevalent. But the wine is really good. The bourbon's really good. With a hot summer day, I'm going to give this a solid 9. I'm going to give it a 9. Highly recommend this. I've never heard of a New York Sour, but I was going through a cocktail book, and this is what I got. So, again, New York Sour, give it a try. Coming at you with our socials now. You can find us on Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok. We are at Triple Pod. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. We are Triple B Podcast, Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters. And of course, you can shoot us an email at triplebpod619@gmail.com. Love to get your ideas on anything you would like us to talk about, whether it's wrestling or movies or TV shows. Give us some questions of the week that you might want us to ask each other. Give us a bourbon suggestion or cocktail suggestion. Anything to better the show. We'd love to hear from you. Going into our bourbon talking points of the week, I got the fact check this week. And not much to cover, actually, so let's get right to it. We talked about Sami Zayn's win-loss record over the last 2 years, and there actually is a website that kind of breaks down house shows, broadcasted shows, PLEs, etc. And so I was able to look this up pretty quickly because you can choose it by year. So I went from 2025 to the beginning of 2023, so not quite 2 years because I can't pick half a year. So we're just going with what we got from 2023 on. And so Sami Zayn had a total of 102 matches. He has won 50 of those. He's lost 47 and drew 5 times, or a no contest 5 times. So that brings his winning total to 49.02. So yes, he loses significantly, but he wins about 50-50 of it. If you actually go back one more year to 2022, that loss record column was a lot more significantly. So Ryan was not wrong. Sami Zayn is not a consistent winner, and this year is really showing it as well. Going to the King of the Ring talking point. We were talking. Ryan brought up the point of we haven't seen a Final Four with all faces, and all the research that I did, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but just judging by the characters at the time that they were in the semifinals, there's always been a heel besides this year. So this was the first time that I could find that King of the Ring Final Four were in fact all faces. So little interesting tidbit. Good pull from Ryan on that. Going over to the Street Profits, have they defended the titles cleanly? We brought up TLC. That's a train wreck of a match, so it's as clean as the match is allowed to be. But to Ryan's point, there's always been like some run-ins or DQs going on as the Street Profits had defended their titles. But there was actually one match where they did defend it cleanly, and that was against Pretty Deadly when they were at the O2 Arena back in March. There's no run-ins. It was just a simple tag team match for the titles, and Pretty Deadly took a loss cleanly. Going over to naming the difference between the two titles. So my belts question of the week last week was I was revolving it around the main WWE Championship, which is currently the WWE Undisputed Championship. Ryan took it as the World Heavyweight Championship, and I understand where he was coming from because I did throw in the word heavyweight into that. But really, both titles are the Heavyweight Championship. Where I thought I was making it clear is that I didn't include the word world. I've always assumed the word world to the big gold belt. And so that's where I got my question from, and I could see where the confusion was. So the two titles are the WWE Undisputed Champion and then the World Heavyweight Champion, which is on Raw, Undisputed on SmackDown. So that's just to clarify that. We talked about when Weapons would be coming out. Ryan wanted to go see that in theaters with me. That's coming out August 8th. Let's plan that out. And then lastly, is Drop streaming anywhere? I had Drop on my binge cap last month, and what I could find is that it is on video on demand and physical currently, but it is releasing on 7-Eleven on the Cox Stream, aka the Peacock streaming app. So if you want to watch that, you can watch that 7-Eleven on the Cox Stream. And that's it for our fact check. Ryan will take over that part next week. Going over to our wellness journey check-in number 24. So I'm just going to share my results. Ryan can share his next week or just on the following week for the check-in. Just going over quick successes and challenges. Not too many to cover in this aspect, but successes, continually getting my workouts in. That's been one proud thing that I've been able to do, just week in and week out, getting solid workouts in despite any pains that I've been feeling, which this past couple weeks has been less and less. So I've been able to go a little harder in the gym. So that's felt really good. Challenges, it's been a little hot. We've been a little busy with the 4th of July week at work. So there's been some food choices that haven't been great. But going back to the success side of things, I've been doing a good job of calorie counting and staying within means for most days, and then by the end of the week I'm still under, and so that's been really good for myself as well. Going over to the weigh-in, I now weigh 219 pounds, so I've officially got below 220 pounds. I've lost 3.6 pounds since the last check-in, and a total of 43.6 pounds since we started this last August. 9 pounds away from a goal of 210. I know Ryan's right there. I didn't think I'd have any chance of kind of catching up to him. But here we are, neck and neck, rounding out to the 210, and I couldn't be more excited. I'm feeling good physically. I'm just, it's been an amazing challenge that we set for each other, and really excited for that angle and plan on continuing it going forth. But that's this wellness journey check-in, and I'll see you in a couple weeks with the next update. That brings us over to belts. Ding, 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 ding. Let's get started. Well, Tim, what do you want to talk about? Well, I'm covering both Raw and SmackDown this week. Overall, this week post Night of Champions wasn't that big of a feel to it. It definitely felt like it was a post PLE. So nothing too big did I take away from this. Some big moments, a lot of low moments, but I'm not here to complain about that. There will be a few qualms that I have, but let's get right into it. So on Monday Night Raw, Judgment Day versus New Day, tag team championship match. I gotta say, the feud or New Day's title reign has been nothing great. I have not been interested in it. Judgment Day as a tag team with Finn and JD, great team, just not a lot going on with them. So wasn't too hyped for this match, but I gotta say, I was surprised, man. This match turned out to be a banger. It was so good. Both teams are really good in the ring. That's not taking away anything from that. It's just storyline-wise, why should I care about it? But that quickly changed. This match started off fast. These guys went at each other for a good while, and it was an amazing match. The crowd was into it. I got really into it. And now we got new tag team champions. Finn Balor, JD McDonough win the tag titles. I'm sorry, New Day. This run just wasn't for it. You'll have another chance, but I think it was the right decision. It gets a good storyline with what's going on currently with Judgment Day, with Liv being injured, with Roxanne Perez trying to join, along with Finn trying to stir the pot with these guys. And so I think it just gets more eyes on the tag titles currently because Judgment Day is on our TV week in and week out, and New Day isn't, right? So it just wasn't New Day's greatest run, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Mr. Chad Gableson is injured, and this happened last week with Penta doing I forget what you call it, but it's where you rip the arm backwards, and Gable selling an injury. Adam Pearce joked about we won't be seeing El Grande Americano, which I thought was just a great jab because of what's going on. We all know that Gable is not El Grande Americano. Wink, wink. But later in the night, we got Ivy Nile and American Made getting interviewed, and lo and behold, we get El Grande Americano, but his physique changed. He's eerily looks similar to Ludwig Kaiser, which I think this is great. I think the play on this whole character being it's got to be Chad Gable, and now throwing a little curve into it. I'm curious to see what Michael Cole has to say about this as it plays out. I hope it does keep playing out because it's just a lot of fun. So we'll love to see how this goes. We got some clarity on the Women's Tag Team Championship. Roxanne Perez is going to be allowed to fill in, so Raquel Rodriguez does not have to vacate the titles, although it kind of feels like it does because of the way they worded this. But the women's tag titles are going to be defended in a fatal four-way at Evolution. It's going to consist of Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez facing another team from Raw, as well as a team from SmackDown and NXT. The way they worded it is we'll give them a test run. So it kind of feels like they have to win to get the tag titles. So the way it worded it sounded vacated, but regardless, Roxanne Perez gets to be Roxanne Perez gets to be Raquel's partner, and they get to defend it in a fatal 4-way match. So, not going to talk about it from the SmackDown side of things, but we did get fill in for the SmackDown side of things. Charlotte Flair is now a tag team partner of Alexa Bliss and will be the SmackDown team. So now we just are waiting for another Raw team and the NXT team to round that out. Curious to see how that plays out, and really curious to see how the Charlotte and Alexa Bliss team works out too, because I mean, they're two of the best women in the division, so chances are they could potentially win the tag title. So we'll see how that goes. All right, we got to talk about the segment that consisted of Gunther, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and LA Knight. I think this was a great segment on Monday Night Raw. Firstly, we get Gunther out in the ring just talking about how he's going to bully Goldberg, how he's going to dominate him and embarrass him, and I hope that's the case. Gunther is just so good. He needs to dominate Goldberg. I can appreciate that this is Goldberg's retirement match, and I hope this match turns out good, but history is against that. So I'm hoping it's going to be good. Fingers crossed for both wrestlers' sake. But the interesting part comes when Seth Rollins comes out, because this starts diving more into who Gunther's potential opponents can be if he maintains the World Heavyweight Championship. We get some interaction where Gunther is like, hey, you traveled a long ways to go to Night of Champions and accomplish nothing. And then Seth Rollins really shakes it off quickly and goes, I said as long as I breathe, Punk would not be champion, and I accomplished that. So in Seth Rollins' eyes, he did accomplish something. But again, it gets the pot stirring between these two, which I think would be a great match, obviously, down the road. And that's if Gunther maintains this title again. But then that quickly drew out CM Punk, who quickly took out Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins retreats through the crowd, and then LA Knight was up at the top of the stairs waiting for Seth Rollins. I thought just the whole transitions in this whole segment was great. Again, just getting some interaction with all these wrestlers for different potential feuds down the road is exciting. But LA Knight goes on the attack. Seth retreats out of the arena by the end of this whole segment, and then go back to the ring, and Punk tries to walk out. Gunther tries to stop him, and then Punk just shoves the hell out of him, shoves him right down to the ground. I don't know if that was planned, but it definitely looked like Gunther was caught off guard with that one. I thought this, again, whole segment was great. I would love to see CM Punk Gunther feud as well. So again, segment did a great job kind of intertwining all these characters together. Excited to see where this goes. Going over to the SmackDown side of things, we get Cody Rhodes opening the show, talking about how grueling this King of the Ring tournament was, how he left a part of himself in the match against Jay, and then he did it again against Randy, mentioning Randy, draws out Randy Orton, and we get Randy Orton saying he respects Cody for not hesitating, and I thought their match was probably one of the best at Night of Champions. They had a great match, minus the whole selling the back injury. I'm not a big fan of that in the match like that. But regardless, great match. Cody didn't hesitate, and Cody's kind of shown that throughout all of his matches. You think back to with AJ Styles last year at Backlash, where he attacked him with the stairs. We got the KO at Royal Rumble going through the ladder. There's just been a lot of moments where Cody really doesn't hesitate, which it kind of was shocking when he did at WrestleMania with John Cena. But I digress. This draws out Drew McIntyre, who's been gone since Saturday night's main event after the cage match with Priest. Drew is always welcome on my screen. The guy is good at just being this whiny guy. But really what I thought was interesting about this was that he's really just there to draw rift between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. And like I alluded to on the post show of Night of Champions, we talked about how it looks like the seeds are planted for him to go heel. And I think just every little thing that's been happening, it kind of points to that. And Drew driving this rift between the two, saying that Cody's been using Randy, it just kind of feeds that. And I feel like Randy Orton's listening a little more. And I think that's why he ultimately RKO's Drew out of nowhere, because holy hell, that was out of nowhere. This sets up Drew to go against Randy Orton at Saturday night's main event next week. That's going to be a solid match, but again, I'm curious to see how this plays out long term with Randy. I feel like Randy needs to take a loss again. I want him to be the big bad heel, taking on Cody Rhodes ultimately in the end of the storyline. So if Drew helps him get there, that's what I want. Plus, Drew deserves a big win, and I think getting a win over Randy would help. Next up, I got to talk about that Fraxium versus Rey Fenix and Andrade tag match. That match was killer. It was so fast-paced. I can't say enough good things about Fraxium. And Rey Fenix and Andrade made a really good team. Honestly, I don't get why they're paired up when you got Rey, Fenix, and Penta. These guys are brothers. They should be the Lucha Brothers over here, but nope. I mean, I guess the only thing you can say is that Andrade doesn't really got anything going on, and Penta does, so pairing him up with Rey Fenix makes sense, I guess. But regardless, this match was so good. These guys just, it was just, you couldn't take your eyes off the screen. There's not a lot to say about it, minus it sucks that Fraxium had to take a loss. They started off so strong on SmackDown and got some big wins, especially like over the Street Profits. But to lose to Rey Andrade that team is no slouch. These guys are not bad in any way. So taking a loss is not terrible. It just, Fraxium is just so much fun to watch, and I don't want them to fall to the bottom of the totem pole currently. But, curious to see where this goes with Rey and Andrade. The tag team division is very deep on SmackDown, so I'm sure this is going to put them in line to go against the tag team champions down the road. Just wanted to give them a shout out. Next up, it's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton comes out and chooses her opponent for Evolution. And no, it's not Jade Cargill. It's not Nia Jax. It's not Naomi. It's Trish Stratus. And I gotta say, Ryan, I think you just throw out stuff in the air and then it comes true. So can you at least say, hey, Tim, you're gonna win the lottery, because could use that. No, Ryan talked about last week in the fact check how we were talking about R-Truth being the last Attitude Era active wrestler, and then he brought up Trish occasionally coming back, and what a coincidence. Trish Stratus was on her screen again. Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus at Evolution is going to happen for the title. Excited for this match just because it's like a dream match for sure. I would say. I know Trish Stratus is definitely not what she was back in her heyday, but she can still go in the ring. Tiffany Stratton is great. I just like how they were able to team together at Elimination Chamber this year and then go down further down the road, and now they get to face each other. So I think it's going to be a good, solid match, and just maybe one last hurrah for Trish to go for that title. Not hoping she wins it. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but just having Tiffany go over a legend like Trish Stratus would go great. So Evolution 2, we got Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. And lastly, just got to talk about the main event. We got Solo and his family tree. No, it was Solo and JC versus Jimmy and Jacob. I'm not fully sold on doing this whole another bloodline versus bloodline thing. I think it's ran its course. I loved it, but if you don't have Roman in it, if you don't have Jay as well, is it really interesting? I mean, I'm going to be patient with it. I'm sure it's going to play out and we'll have something good, but I just currently am not ready for it. But anyways, we get Jacob taking a win over Solo, which I thought was another weird thing about this is just I get Solo is not the extreme big bad heel guy. Like he's conniving. He's sneaky, and therefore he can take a loss, and it doesn't make him look weak. But I thought after winning the U.S. Championship just on Saturday, and then coming and taking a loss right away in this tag match, didn't do him justice. But the beatdown afterwards, we got Tala Tonga, the new Hikuleo character coming out. Dude looks huge. He looks dominating, a force to be reckoned with. I'm excited for his inclusion in this. We thought that maybe he would come last year for the War Games. Didn't quite happen, so now he's finally getting added to the Solos family tree. What was interesting is that in the promo Solo gave earlier, it didn't sound like they talked about Tongaloa, Tamatonga, because Tongaloa is the one that just returned. Tamatonga, I know he's out with injury, but they didn't really bring him up, and when Solo is saying his family tree is complete. So interesting to see how that might play out, but again, could see another member being added to Jimmy and Jacob's side to make this a 3-on-3 currently. So, or 4-on-4, I guess, right? You got JC in there too. So, curious to see how this all plays out. But again, I'm kind of wishy-washy on it. I'll be patient and let it play out, but not really my favorite thing right now. Banger of the week. I'm giving it to Judgment Day versus New Day solely because it wasn't what I was expecting. I had very, very low expectations for it. I know these superstars are very good, but with how the tag team titles have played out on Raw, I definitely had very, very low expectations for it. Like I said earlier, had no interest in this match. I just want a fresh start. But this match was such a banger. It was so good, and really excited that Finn has some gold around him to further drive this wedge with the Judgment Day and kind of running things over there. So it got my excitement going on Monday Night Raw. Now, that said, they need to follow this up big because there's not a lot of teams on Raw. So again, I don't want Judgment Day to hold these titles for this long period of time where they only defended twice again. So let's follow it up strongly, but had to give them their due. The match was a banger. Loved every minute of it. Thank you. Belts question of the week. With it being 4th of July weekend, let's talk about the U.S. Open Challenge. John Cena's U.S. Open Challenge was a really fun time period for that title. I think it's one of its best eras of the title. So my question is, what was my favorite moment of this era in the U.S. Open Challenge? And I gotta say, the Kevin Owens making his main roster debut, coming out and confronting Cena. It didn't end up even being a match. It was just a great promo between the two. Kevin Owens really just came vicious, man. He really shined in that moment. He was freshly the NXT heavyweight champion at the time, and so it was drawing eyes to NXT, which I was really enjoying at the time. I thought that was really taking off, and that was just really a great start to what would become the Black and Gold era, which was amazing. So him coming out and confronting was just a big jaw drop moment for me. And then it led to their phenomenal match at Elimination Chamber where Kevin Owens won, which was a big shocker at that time as well. Now that wasn't for the US Championship, but just seeing Kevin Owens win over a guy like John Cena was really big at that time. Very unexpected, and I couldn't say much more good things about it. I remember just messaging Alex. We were both watching it at the time and just really enjoying what we were seeing on TV. So I was really excited for that. Now, if you want me to pick a match, I would say that Sami Zayn match with John Cena up in, I believe it was Quebec or Toronto. I want to say Quebec. It was a show where Bret Hart was out, but Sami Zayn came out. He actually injured himself while celebrating on the stairs, and then wrestled the whole match injured. And the match was a banger. Like it was incredible. I thought that match was great. It's fitting that my two of my answers are KO and Sami Zayn. Of course, those guys have been a big pinnacle of wrestling. They've been a big part of what I've enjoyed in the last decade, and they were a big part of that. So that was my answers to that. Going over to Blockbusters action. First up, we got our movies on the agenda. First thing I'm bringing up is Running Man. We got a trailer for Running Man. This is the remake from the 1987 movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Synopsis goes like this. It's a long one, so stay with me. Millions hunt, one runs, everyone watches. In a near-future society, The Running Man is the top-rated show on television. A deadly competition where contestants known as runners must survive 30 days while being hunted by professional assassins, with every move broadcasted to a bloodthirsty public, and each day bringing a greater cash reward. Desperate to save his sick daughter, working-class Ben Richards is convinced by the show's charming but ruthless producer, Dan Killian, to enter the game as a last resort. But Ben's defiance instincts and grit turn him into an unexpected fan favorite and a threat to the entire system. As ratings skyrocket, so does the danger, and Ben must outwit not just the hunters, but a nation addicted to watching him fail. Cast is Glenn Powell, Josh Brolin, and Michael Cera, and the release date for this is November 7th of this year. Platforms coming out to theater near you. Again, just quick thoughts on this. This looks super unhinged fun. I think that's the best way to say it. This is, again, the remake, and I'm going to be honest, I have not seen the first one, so that is definitely going to be on my binge cap for this month. I got to say, Michael Cera is a national treasure. He was super funny in the little blips that we got of him in this trailer, so really excited to see him coming back out in more things. And I mean, again, I have not seen this, so the trailer definitely gives me vibes of Hunger Games, which I know is probably inspired by The Running Man. So Hunger Games could walk because of Running Man, right? So excited to see this movie. I'll definitely be catching the original here this month, and we'll follow up on that. Next up, Project Hail Mary. This is a movie based off the book by Andy Weir, who also wrote The Martian, which was a great movie. So already got some excitement for this. Synopsis goes like this. Science teacher Rylan Grace wakes up on a spaceship light years from home with no recollection of who he is or how he got there. As his memory returns, he begins to uncover his mission, solve the riddle of the mysterious substance causing the sun to die out. He must call on his scientific knowledge and unorthodox ideas to save everything on Earth from extinction, but an unexpected friendship means he may not have to do it alone. Cast is Ryan Gosling and Sandra Hüller. Release date is March 20th of next year, 2026, and it's going to be out in theaters. Again, like I alluded, this is a movie based on the book, and just judging by the trailer, definitely something I would like to pick up and read, so I will be doing that. Ryan Gosling is great balance of serious and comedic relief. So, and you can see that in this trailer already. So definitely excited about that. I love the scene where he meets the alien and he talks about it on like what I'm assuming is getting broadcasted back to Earth, where he says, "Met an alien, sort of growing on me. Not in me," which was a concern for a little while. That made me laugh. I'm really excited for this. The trailer is well done. Doesn't give away too much from what I can see. Definitely didn't get the where they talk about where he wakes up light years away. So curious to see how that plays out in the movie. But I love a good science fiction film, and that's right up my alley. She Rides Shotgun. Damn, this trailer was gritty, and I'm not gonna. I'll just get right into the synopsis here. Marked for death by unrelenting enemies, Nate must now protect his estranged 11-year-old daughter, Polly, at all costs. Shy, precocious, and wary of her father, Polly is swept up in Nate's dangerous plight as they flee to evade the corrupt sheriff and brutal leader of a gang who will stop at nothing to protect his criminal interests. With scant resources and no one to trust, Nate and Polly form a bond under fire as he shows her how to fight and survive. And she teaches him what unconditional love truly means in this intense, moving story about loyalty, strength, and redemption. Cast is Taron Egerton, Anna Sophia Hager. Release date is August of this year. Didn't see official date on that, but August coming up here. And platform's going to be in theaters. Again, the word I got to use for this trailer is gritty. It's intense, looks emotional. Taron Egerton is great in everything he's in. And I'm just really excited for this one. I got to say, the scene where he says he doesn't want his daughter pulling the trigger, that's what he's for. Just hits you right in the feels, and just with that scene alone, got me sold on this movie. Kind of just, I mean, in a different way, kind of reminds me of End of Watch. That was pretty gritty movie. This kind of got that feel to it. So again, really excited for this one. Jumping over to the series, got one for you, and it's called Terminal List Dark Wolf. A synopsis is pretty simple. Prequel series to the Terminal List that came out in 2022 following Ben Edwards' journey from Navy SEAL to CIA operative. The cast has Taylor Kitsch, Tom Hopper, Luke Hemsworth, and Chris Pratt. And this is coming out on Prime Video August 27th of this year. Loved the first season of this. It was well done. Chris Pratt did a good job, and Taylor Kitsch was in that for some moments, and definitely wanted to see how his character came to be. So this prequel series is going to be doing that. So really excited for that. Prime has been coming out with some really solid TV shows, and this one looks to be right up my alley. Fred! Follow-up, rumors, and early development. Just got one thing here, and it's the Odyssey teaser trailer. So again, Odyssey is the movie that Christopher Nolan is directing next, and it's an all-star cast, as is all his movies, but we got Tom Holland, we got Matt Damon, we got John Bernthal, among a million others. I know we've listed a bunch of them before. Don't have that here right now. But this teaser trailer can only be seen currently in theaters. I'm sure it's somewhere on the internet, but that's where I saw this one. And it didn't give away a lot, but it shows Tom Holland's character talking to John Bernthal, and it's talking about Odysseus, who is played by Matt Damon. And I just, the little glimpses of this just has me really excited. It's not typically something Nolan would do. This is like, fantasy, and it seems like it's a total right turn for him. So really excited for this. The closing shot of this has Odysseus on shipwreckage out in the middle of the ocean, and it just got me wanting more. So hopefully another trailer comes out soon for this. Again, this doesn't come out till next year, so I got to be patient and wait for that. But just seeing this little teaser trailer in theaters got me excited, got me hyped for this. Unfortunately, we have to do a triple B Memoriam this week. We got two actors that passed away this past week, one being Julian McMahon and Michael Madsen. So Julian McMahon, for those that don't know, he played Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four movies that came out back early 2000s. He played in Charmed as well as Nip Tuck, among other things. And then Michael Madsen, he was known for playing in the Quentin Tarantino movies, Kill Bill, Reservoir Dogs, The Hateful Eight. What I really remember him from is Free Willy 1 and 2. Early callback right there, right? But unfortunately, these guys lost their lives. You guys will be missed. And here's to you guys. Cheers. That brings me to the special segment of the week. We got Blockbuzzin, and what Blockbuzzin is we take a movie that is generating buzz or we feel has buzzworthy around it. And what I chose for this week and this rendition of Blockbuzzin is Jurassic World Rebirth. This just came out in theaters this 4th of July weekend. Just to remind you what the synopsis of this was. So, 5 years post Jurassic World Dominion, an expedition braves isolated equatorial regions to extract DNA from 3 massive prehistoric creatures for a groundbreaking medical breakthrough. Why is this buzzing, you say? It's the 7th installment of a beloved franchise. I know there's haters of some of the World movies, even Jurassic Park 3, but overall, these movies did very well in the theater runs, and there's a reason they're making the 7th one, because it generates the interest. I'm not tired of seeing dinosaurs, and that's the movie, regardless of the movie telling me that I'm tired of seeing dinosaurs. So that's why it is buzzing. What are my thoughts on this? This movie was fun. I thought this was a good return to form. Was there things I think that could be done better? Absolutely. I thought maybe we could have saw more of the dinosaurs, especially more action in the final part of the movie, but overall, I really enjoyed it for what it was. I don't try to overthink these movies. Just visually seeing dinosaurs on the screen to me is great. I thought this did a good job of kind of drawing back to the horror part of the franchise and just generating that edge of your seat feel. And I think that it did it very well. Some of the acting was a little meh, but overall, all the characters I could get some interest in. And makes me want to get a dinosaur. You'll understand if you've seen that, but there's a really cute dinosaur in that. And then my only other qualm with this is they leaned really heavily into these mutant dinosaurs. I'm all for kind of cross-species dinosaurs, but just lean into the originals, man. I love the T-Rex. I love the Velociraptors. We don't need to get super creative with these things. I think just getting chased by one of those is terrifying enough. Let's buy into that. And then I guess one more qualm would be just how this movie starts. It's just very simple thing that caused a lot of chaos, and again, you'll understand that when you see it. I don't want to give away spoilers because this really just came out in theaters, so do yourself a favor, go catch it in theaters. It was a lot of fun. If you enjoy the 6 previous movies for what it was, I highly recommend it. If you didn't like any of the Jurassic World movies or Jurassic Park 3, then skip this one. Save yourself time because it definitely does not outdo the original Jurassic Park. But again, this was Blockbuzzin, and Jurassic World Rebirth was buzzworthy. Lastly, we got Blockbusters question of the week. So in the same vein, with it being 4th of July weekend, fireworks going off around the neighborhood, my question is, what's one of the most memorable explosion scenes in a movie and or show? Both my answers happen to be from movies, and the top one I gotta give is to V for Vendetta, with the Parliament building exploding to the 1812 Overture song. It was so beautiful. It was impactful. It was a big culmination to that movie. It was just an incredible scene to see play out. It was beautiful. It was beautiful and memorable. It really sticks out in my head. The runner-up I would give to the White House exploding in Independence Day. That was another memorable one. It was just for that time, just seeing the visual effects on that was incredible. Both those are right near the top. Would love to get any of your favorite scenes with explosions, so please share that with us. Well, that wraps up the show. Thanks for giving us a listen, and tune in to future episodes of the Triple B podcast. Cheers.